You're a man's man. You wear overalls to work that show off your muscles. And you use a big hammer when you go to work. And when you're done working a man's job, pounding steel, riding bulls, digging deep holes, you want a man's meal. That's when you reach for a hungry bastard. 3.5 pounds of meat, corn, potatoes, and a little brownie. And not a bitch-ass vegetable in sight. Hungry Bastard doesn't worry about things like a balanced diet or essential nutrition. Every package of Hungry Bastard is packed with enough sodium to fulfill the daily requirements of 10 men. 'Cause at the end of the day, you just want to eat. Because you're a hungry bastard. And for your lady friend, hungry bitch. It's the same thing, but it's got a picture of an angry lady on the box.
Hungry Bastard dinner replacement box. It's like food, but big. Welcome to the Proco... This is why I can't do these things.
You had one job.
All right, starting over. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Otaku podcast. I'm your host, AJ. With me is Marcus.
Yo.
And Alan.
Hey.
We're going to kick the show off with a bit of fun today. We're going to play a little game, you guys.
That sounded like the most, villain, holding a people hostage. That's like...
Would you like to have
We're going to have a little fun today, hostages.
Is it the Joker?
Your life won't be in danger.
The answer is the Joker. You won. We're going to play a game, and the game is called that game where you try to guess what the anime is about.
This is my favorite game.
The title will make sense, maybe.
I don't like
Basically, I'm going to give you a long and obscure anime title, and you guys have to try to guess what it's about. And then I pick who is either the closest or has the better description. Sound good?
Yep.
Yes.
The winner gets bragging rights, and that's it, because I don't have any... I'm not giving you a prize.
Well, I live off of bragging rights, so
Chips.
it's all good.
Can I have some chips?
All right, so I'm going to read the title. Marcus, you give me a description.
Is that a no on the chips?
And then Alan, give me a description.
I think
No
so.
chips. And then we'll switch for the next one. So we'll do 3. Sound
All right.
good?
Yeah.
All right.
Chips.
The first title. How heavy are the dumbbells you lift?
That's it?
That's it.
How heavy are the dumbbells you lift? All right, so I'm going to guess that it's about some high school kid who sucks. He's all skinny, and he's like, I want to get buff, kind of like Mob, except he's not Mob, so not as cool. And he's going to try to lift as much weight as he can so he can get a harem.
So it's a harem anime.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Just making sure. All right, Alan, what do you think it's about?
Can I say a high school kid too? Or is that just
I mean,
Well,
odds are yes.
Well, 98.63% of all anime are about a high school
okay,
kid.
so if you don't say it's about a high school kid, then you're just going
You're
out on a
wrong.
limb and shooting yourself in the foot. I think it's about a high school kid who he's already kind of buff, but he's trying to get to that next level, and he makes a pact with a demon to make his dumbbells heavier because he can't afford to buy new ones or heavier ones to get stronger. So they get infused with spirit devil energy, and then he has to fight the demons for some reason, and he's always just barely strong enough to win because of all the weightlifting.
And he gets stronger by lifting heavier demon weights.
Yep. You got me. You're with me.
All right.
I don't know if he's right, but I want to watch that anime.
I'm going to give it to Alan. Neither one of you are wrong, but you're not.
This
you're
is
both right about the high school part.
This is a real anime, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It might just be a manga. It's
Yeah,
either
yeah.
anime or manga or light novel or
Fair
something
enough.
like that. But it's a Japanese produced form of media. Here's the real synopsis. Hibiki Sakura is a second-year high school girl who has a voracious appetite. This habit leads to her gaining weight. Voracious?
Yeah.
Voracious
Probably.
appetite. This habit leads her to gaining weight. Once this is brought to her attention, she reluctantly thinks about joining the Silverman Gym. At the gym, Hibiki finds out that Akemi Soryuin, a schoolmate of hers, is also thinking about joining. Upon meeting Naruzo Machio, one of the trainers, she falls head over heels in love with him and joins the gym. Motivated, Hibiki vows to lose weight.
I like Alan's better.
I like Alan's better too.
Let's make it.
You won.
Next.
Round 1 goes to Alan.
I win.
You
Give me
deserve
them
that
ch-
round.
let
I'm
me
not
get
even
them-
mad.
Let me get them chips.
All right, here's your chips. Round 2.
Spirit chips.
Round 2. My mental choices are completely interfering with my school romantic comedy.
One more time, please.
My mental choices are completely interfering with my school romantic comedy.
Okay, I wanted to go first, but now I don't. 'Cause that's... My mental choices are completely interfering with my school-based comedy. I know the last part was wrong, but I think I had it.
Close enough. Just go
School-
with that.
My school sitcom? What is it?
Romantic comedy.
My school romantic comedy?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
School-based comedy. This isn't Cromartie, dude.
Yeah, you know all those school-based comedies that are out there? This is one of those. All right, I'm going to go first. This is a school-based comedy where Kakariko-chan is... shit, what was it called again? My mental thoughts? Who can't...
Choices
My mental choices. Okay,
are
so...
completely
Okay, no, I've
I'm
got
gonna
it.
read it one more time. My
I've got
mental
it.
choices
Go
are
ahead.
completely interfering with my school romantic comedy.
All right, so in her head, she's in a game, right? She's in this MMO where you log in with your whole brain, and she's making choices, but those choices are very upsetting and not conducive to the rom-com setting of her high school where they're always being filmed, and she's trying to get her views up, but everybody's like, she's distracted. She's thinking about her loot tables and shit.
For views?
Her views. Yeah, they're trying to get views for the school. Weren't you
Like
listening?
YouTube views?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a rom-com based school comedy. School-based comedy. Weren't you listening?
Did I miss when you said YouTube?
YouTube isn't the only thing with views. This is a created world that I built with my mind palace where you get
Okay.
views, where your high school gets views on Broku Tube.
Is that it then?
That's it then.
So it's a high school
hey.
girl
Oh, never mind.
who is in a MMO brain
In her brain.
powered by views that power the high school.
Sure.
Okay.
No, she gets distracted by the game. Her mental choices, remember those
yeah,
from
yeah.
the title? She's
Okay.
making mental choices because she's in the game mentally. But
All right.
they're making her sad and distracted, and she can't be lighthearted and funny and whimsical like the rom-com school environment requires.
All right.
End. The end.
Good. Cool. Great. That was a
Ship,
good one.
ship it.
Marcus.
Oh my God, how do I follow that? I think that it's a show about. I'm gonna go a guy. It's a guy. It's a guy. It's a guy that's in high school, and everybody thinks he's crazy, but he gets mad because he's like, I'm not. But the thing about it is he is. So every day he keeps doing crazy stuff and people get mad at him and he doesn't get it. because he's crazy but doesn't think he is. Anyway, there's a chick that he likes, and he has this plan that basically is like, I'm going to put on a play for the festival, because they always have festivals in Japan. And it's going to be a romantic comedy, so he's going to try to make the play so him and the girl can hook up, because he's going to make her, he's going to have tryouts and everything, like he don't already know it's going to be her, but he's going to pick her. And then he's going to play the lead, of course, even though he sucks and can't act. And then it's like he's doing that, but then he keeps seeing glitches every time they practice and start writing the screenplay.
What?
And it turns out like there's these goblins that keep telling him to do different stuff. And he has to like fight them mentally, like not like sword or gun fighting, but he has to like fight them mentally because they don't want him to date the girl. So he has to fight them while at the same time figure this play out so the girl will like him.
I can't repeat that back to you, but it sounds amazing. All right, I'm going to give this one to Marcus. Here's the real synopsis.
Boo.
Kanade Amakusa is a high school student who suffers from a curse called absolute choices. This curse requires him to select an action from a list of 2 or 3 options that appear before him at any time.
Oh, snap.
He has no control over what choices appear.
Damn.
Many of them are weird or perverse, and as a result, the curse has tainted his reputation with his classmates and other people around him, making his life difficult. However, one day, a choice he makes on his way home from school causes a mysterious, beautiful young girl to fall from the sky. Amakusa discovers that she was sent from the God world to assist him in completing a series of missions given to him directly by God himself. After completing these missions, the absolute choices curse will be lifted from Amakusa, but should he fail in completing any of these missions, he will be stuck with the curse forever.
Damn.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
That is...
It escalates ridiculously.
Hold up. So is that an anime or is that a manga? What is that?
I think it is an anime.
I might have to check that out. That actually sounds pretty cool.
Next time on the Broken Otaku podcast, the review of my mental choices fucked me over.
Are
It's
affecting my
definitely an
school-based
anime.
comedy.
You can watch it.
Hold on.
You can watch it on Crunchyroll right now.
That was the worst name for like a pretty like cool curse, like a
Yeah.
pretty interesting curse, and they were just like, what will we call this maniacal machination? Let's call it absolute choices.
It's pretty terrible.
That's what happens when the Japanese try to use English because it's cool to use it over there, but it just sounds
Also not cool to use it when you don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean it's basically what weebs do over here when we say like stupid stuff in Japanese, and if we said it over there, people just look at us like, "What are you doing?"
We don't do that here. You get out. All right, I got one more.
All right,
And Marcus, you're going to go first.
dope.
I can't understand what my husband is saying.
This is on Netflix. Too bad I never read the synopsis or I could cheat.
Is it on Netflix?
Actually, no. You know what? No, it's not. I'm thinking of My Husband Won't Fit.
My husband
Gross.
won't fit.
Yes. Yes.
A hentai?
I don't think so.
It is on Crunchyroll.
I can't understand what my husband is saying. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. I think that this is about a newlywed couple, and on their honeymoon, they find a portal, and then they don't want to go in it, but for some reason they accidentally get blown in it by like a tornado or something. and a bunch of weird crap happens. They get spit out, and then the lady's husband turns into like a miniature satyr, and every time he talks, just music comes out. And so she has to figure out how to turn him back Actually, no. She doesn't have to figure out how to turn him back. She has to figure out how to just live with this new paradigm of life.
She used to learn to read the music.
Yeah.
She
And
likes
that's
to
it.
read the music of his soul.
Slow, steady music means he's sad.
Man, it's too bad we didn't get the first time we played this game because I killed that one. These are harder.
I don't remember the first one, what that was.
It was my mom's like
Oh, yeah.
dual.
Oh yeah, you
Dual
pretty
hit.
much nailed it.
Yeah, I got that one like dead on. These are hard though.
I'm gonna do that one again in a couple weeks.
Can I
See
go
if there's
now?
enough time to forget. Okay,
it my-
Marcus.
Is it my turn now? No, Marcus just went.
Yes, I'm gonna not do anything because I need to hear Alan's first. So go ahead, Alan.
Okay. So I can't understand anything my husband is saying is about a newly married couple who on their honeymoon they're about to do you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying, they're about to do stuff and
Get something to eat.
yeah, they're about to get something to eat, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. So, but right as they're about to begin, the curse on the dude that he didn't know about was on him. Kicks in like, nah, you can't have sex with your wife. You get turned into like a tentacle face, squid face. You get a squid for a head. Your head is a squid. And now all you can do is make gurgly noises, and then they got to figure out how to deal with that. And the whole time they're both like really sexually frustrated because they didn't get to bone on their wedding night.
Spot on. But not really. I mean, that's not what the show's about.
Did I win though? Was I closer than Mark?
I don't think either one of us were even in the ballpark of that one.
No, you were not either one of you. I'll call it a tie just because it's a stupid game. It doesn't matter. You both are losers.
I was wondering. No bragging rights this week.
Wah,
All right,
wah.
here's the real synopsis. The series centers around the daily lives of Kaoru, a hardworking office lady, and her husband, Hajime, who is an otaku, an obsessed fan of anime and manga culture, and who works as a blogger. Using popular anime and otaku tropes and in-jokes, the characters explore the conflicts and similarities between daily life and otaku culture in urban Japan. The witty dialogue accentuates the animation and sometimes slips into manzai-style humor.
What's that?
I don't know.
Well, sounds like this is a job for the internet.
Typing it up, getting the answers.
Manzai is a traditional style in Japanese culture similar to double act comedy or stand-up comedy. Manzai usually involves two performers.
Oh, is that like what they do at the end of Demon Slayer? Because that shit is hilarious.
Whoa, spoilers.
A straight
It's not
man
that- I mean,
and a
they do it every
funny
episode,
man
so, like-
trading jokes
Oh, yeah.
at great speed. Most of the jokes revolve around mutual misunderstandings, double talks, puns, and other verbal gags. So,
that is-
no.
No?
No, because, I mean, Demon Slayer is just two people talking about what's going to happen next or what happened last time or and Taisho's secret. It's not really about...
but it's always goofy.
It is always goofy, but I think that this is more like setup, punchline, more like comedy writing.
I don't care. I'm gonna call it Manzai.
Well, don't go to
Manzai from
Japan.
now on.
Don't go to Japan and say that because they'll beat you because
You
you're
don't-
wrong.
You don't have to tell me not to go to Japan because I can't afford it. No, I mean, maybe. I mean, I could if I really wanted to go.
Don't worry, the fans of the Broke Otaku podcast will support us in our trip to Japan. I got a bunch more of these that I'm going to save for later episodes.
Do it. We got to get on with the show.
We now return to the Broke Otaku first annual Retrospecticus 2019 edition, The Low Lows.
All right, before we hit the lows, where are you guys putting Promare? I have not seen it.
Promare.
I'll let you go first, Alan.
Promare is such a mixed bag. I was gonna go watch the trailer again because the trailer got me so hyped. Promare is an achievement. I think it's an achievement. The animation, I've never seen anything like it visually. So that is a plus. That is a pro.
Yeah.
The dialogue, the writing, the voice acting, the dubbing is not the strongest. I don't know. I feel like 13-year-old me, like teenage me, I don't know, anywhere like until I was like 18 or something, would have loved it because they kept digging deeper. They over-explained things, and like I'm old enough now and mature enough to know that like sometimes there's too much explanation can hurt something, but like the way they explained everything, I would have loved it when I was a kid, but it wasn't necessary.
Is that
I don't know. Yeah, I'll stop there. I'll probably think of something else, but
well, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna go too far into it because AJ, we got to make you watch it, and I want to watch it with you in person
I want to watch it.
because it is unlike anything you've ever watched, and that's saying a lot for an anime, a whole lot for an anime. I will say it is an achievement. Definitely, the animation is cutting edge and not just technically good, but really inspired and creative.
yeah, like it is unique.
Yes,
Looking, it felt like a dream. Like it's very like surreal in the visuals.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Studio Trigger.
Yeah, it's
that did it. And I mean they're known for just their visual style and shit that they pull out of their ass. Like it's just a bunch of creative people over there that are insane. So you have the best people in the industry as far as that goes working on this stuff. It has one of my favorite openings to any anime movie I've ever seen, and not opening like in the traditional sense of like a episode for a show, but like just opening credits that / tell the story. I thought that was beautifully done, and I can talk about that more at a later date. So on that front, amazing. Yeah, me and Alan were old men, and I think in our years we have acquired a taste for subtlety, and there's nothing subtle about Promare. And even more so, there's nothing subtle about Promare for its entire runtime. About halfway through the movie, I wanted to stop watching it, not because it was bad, but because I was tired.
Yeah, it's yeah, that like fatigue starts to set in. We're just like, oh man, these guys are all yelling constantly, and everything is super dramatic.
Yeah, everything explodes 4 times. The colors are always bright. There's always something moving on the screen.
Yeah.
There's always somebody yelling, and always, moreover, yelling something ridiculous that the first 5 times they say something cheesy, it's cute. Like, after that, stop.
Yeah, there is a limit to how much of that you can take in a given amount of time.
Right. So I mean, I'm exactly with Alan. I don't want to call it a high or a low. It really is a mixed bag. You know, like you can look at it as the glass is half full or half empty, just depending on what you want to focus on. But you know, all the people that we watched it with loved it because I don't know. I guess they're all more standard weeboos than we are. But
I'm looking forward to the release. I'll pick it up on Blu-ray and watch it, and I anticipate having the same reaction as you guys because
there's certain things now that I watch and I'm just like, all right, I'm burned out on this. Let's wrap it up. Move the story forward, but give it to me straight.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that. A couple honorable mentions on the good list. Promised Neverland. If you guys haven't watched that.
Yes, Promised Neverland was really good.
It was really good.
I can't wait for the next one.
Dr. Stone's pretty good. I haven't watched a whole lot of it, but I enjoyed what I saw. The art style is really good, and the story's pretty good.
People like it. It's popular.
Dr. Stone himself's kind of an asshole, but that's a different story.
I hate his face. He just always has that stupid smirk.
Yeah.
On every image that I haven't watched a single episode, but every promotional whatever I've seen for it, he just has that look on his face. I'm like, I don't want to see that.
He's
All I know is he stole Gohan Super Saiyan 2's haircut, and I'm mad about it.
Yeah,
Gohan
total
called,
rip
he
off
wants his
there.
haircut back. And Vinland Saga, really good.
Vinland Saga's good. Are you all caught up on that?
No.
I think I'm like 2 episodes behind.
I got to catch up on that, but so far, so good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right,
Very
now
enjoyable.
the stinkers of 2019, the things that let us down tremendously.
Yes.
Let's start with what we already mentioned, One Punch Man Season 2.
Ugh.
Here's what I didn't like about it. And kind of the problem with One Punch Man in general. It's like Saitama, he can only be developed so much as a superhero. Because, like, his gimmick is he does a punch, and that's the end. And, like, you can't really take that away. So, like, his side character where he's not, One Punch Man, he's Saitama, that's kind of his development, and I get that. And him working things out with King was great. I like that part about, like, King. Every scene with King was great. But all the other characters around it, like, the animation just wasn't quite there. It seemed lazily done. So, like, there weren't a whole lot of large-scale fight scenes that were, like, pretty to look at like there were in Season 1. Like, the animation just wasn't as high quality. And the characters that were in there, I don't know, they just weren't as likable. And the entire tournament arc just kind of dragged on a little bit. Like, it wasn't as interesting as it could have been.
You know you fucked up when you make a tournament art in an anime not interesting. Like, anime fans live for tournament arcs.
Yeah.
And
Like,
nobody
there's
liked them.
nothing should be. Nothing should be easier than that.
And, like, a tournament arc is, like, that's the opportunity for the animators to show off. Be like, oh, yeah, let's make some awesome animation. And, like, they just fucked up, man. It was not... There was nothing, like, super pretty about it. I mean, once you had... Who was the kicking guy? The super ripped dude?
Oh, I
Can't
forget
remember
what
his
his name is.
But when he showed up, like, it was kind of cool with his fight. But again, even the Saitama when they're just, like, basically destroying the entire arena, like, it just didn't look as good as it could have.
Yeah, the visuals were definitely, there's a quality issue there. And then just, I don't know, I guess they were following the manga where, they explored other characters, but they just weren't super interesting. And really it felt like they realized that while you were there, and they deliberately held it back from you. Like, Season 1, like, seeing Saitama, like, whoop ass and, like, just learning the extent of his power was really cool. And, like, you always had that to look forward to, and they paid you off. They gave it to you often enough that it was satisfying to watch. Season 2 was just, like, they just drug it out, and, like, the first time he actually, like, does something badass is, like, it's like 2/3 of the way through the season or something when he finally, like, punched that demon's head off or whatever. And they, like, didn't even show it.
Tournament, it was not
was not as fun as it could have been. Yeah. And then at the end of the season, the finale where he kills that big thing, like, it just took too long to get there.
Well, it took too long to
me.
get there, and then once it got there, it was really underwhelming. Because it was just
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
everybody's having trouble with it. Okay, Bang and Bomb are here. They're going to be able to help. And they kind of do. And then they come up with this plan to where somebody, I think it's King, he acts as the guinea, not the guinea pig, but the bait.
The decoy,
for the centipede
the
thing.
lure.
And then last minute, Saitama drops in, does a big punch, and then it's over.
That was cool for me. I mean, I guess maybe it was one of the highlights of the season. Not to say that it's super strong by itself, but for the season, that was one of the biggest payoffs.
Well, the problem for me is that you got that in almost every episode in season 1.
Exactly.
And the payoff in season 1 was that he actually had a fight with a guy that was the most epic fight ever. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. They spent so much time animating it and putting their heart and soul into it that getting one scene where he throws a punch that I've seen before that looks kind of good, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
really.
I want to save a lot of what I have to say. I mean, that's the theme of this episode. I'm going to say more later some other time.
Yeah, well.
But I'll just summarize what a friend of mine said that I thought was a pretty, hit the nail on the head description of season 2. Season 2, if you were to watch that, not knowing what One Punch Man was, and never having watched the first season, you might think, that's not bad. It's a pretty good anime. The reason it sucked so much was because the first season of One Punch Man wasn't good. It was perfect. It was amazing. So they basically took something that was amazing and followed it up with something that was basic bitch. It turned One Punch Man into a basic, normal, mediocre anime, and that's not okay.
All right, next stink. We'll get more into that on our Mob versus One Punch discussion.
Yeah.
In the following weeks, the next low, Game of Thrones.
This is the low of the year for me.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
This is the biggest upset of all time. All time.
Go ahead, Marcus. You tell me what you think, and then I'll probably agree with you 100%.
There's too much to say, but I guess I'll just talk about the mood surrounding the show. Most anticipated season of anything ever in TV, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. Probably had the biggest budget of any TV show that ever existed. Everybody was watching it. It was honestly, I think it was bigger than whatever that Star Wars movie came out yesterday or whatever it was. I think it was bigger than that even.
That's a throwaway movie anyway.
And I was so excited, completely on the bandwagon. I'm the guy that usually hates hype because I usually think hype is undeserved. I was completely game for it. So watched the first 2 episodes, and nothing great, but my anticipation was still high. And then 3rd episode comes, and the person who you think is the big bad gets defeated. And we're all just left going, that's it? Really? Mm-hmm. We thought this was the apocalypse. We thought this was the end of the world. We thought this was the threat that we were going to be dealing with for this whole season. And it turns out it wasn't.
And defeated so easily and quickly and without even a remnants of the disaster that it should have been.
Yeah. It was bad.
That big bad and that whole army should have ransacked the entire world, and they're just oh no, he's done, moving on.
Yeah. So after that, we're all thinking okay, well, something else is gonna happen, right? Because all of Westeros was at peril. That was the whole point. They were trying to convince everybody south of the Neck that the Night King and his forces weren't just the North's problem. It was all of Westeros' problem, and potentially the world. We had no real way of knowing. So we're thinking, all right, something's going to happen. And then each episode passes, and then it's more and more apparent that, oh, yeah, he's actually gone. The biggest supernatural and existential threat to this part of the world is actually gone and was defeated in one night.
And thousands of years of build-up, literally,
Yeah.
in the world. Like, oh, here he comes, the big bad. We're all fucked. And no, just stab him. He's fine. He's dead. Moving on.
Yeah, and then without going into too much detail, all of the characters just stop becoming interesting at that point.
Yeah,
Like
pretty much.
each episode is just positioning characters to be in the next place for the next battle when they need to be there at the proper time.
I mean, you had characters like Jamie who were being built up to have a complete turn of character from, season 1 all the way up, his whole relationship. And then he's just like, nope, going back to my old ways. I don't care about anybody. I only care about my sister.
Yeah, and I got into a debate with my dad because he was fine with season 8 because he's a noob. But but yeah, he was saying like, no, it was good because like, sometimes people don't actually change and they're still who they are deep down or whatever. Like, people can relapse. It happened. I get his point. However, this is a story. So in a story, it's not good enough to build up a character and then like as quick as you can snap your fingers, they revert exactly back to who they were before they experienced everything. What I told my dad was I would have been fine with him going back to Cersei if he would have done it at least begrudgingly. If he would have felt like I want to stay but I can't because I still just am in love with my sister. That's right. I said in love with his sister, Alan. Alan doesn't watch Game of Thrones. Incest is a thing in this show.
All right. Maybe I'll watch it now.
You sold me. But yeah, like even if he would have showed like some remorse, if he would have like kept some remnant of the fact that he has changed and that he has been affected by the 4 or 5 years that he spent going through all these trials with this woman who became his unlikely companion. Like, I would have been more okay with it. But instead, he was just like, nope, I'm just going to go exactly back to who I was at the beginning, right before your very eyes, with no explanation. And a lot of characters were just doing things that were dumb and stupid like that. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that the season was only 6 episodes long.
And by the time they got to the point where they could do something like that, it's like you have 3 episodes.
Exactly.
And you have to travel across the entire continent in that 3 episodes. And you have to make this character be evil, and this character have a reason to kill this other character. And like they just had so many things that they needed, so many loose ends they needed to tie up, and they did it in the sloppiest way possible.
Yeah, because at first it sounded like a good idea when I very first heard that they wanted to only do 13 more episodes after season 6. I was thinking, okay, sweet. They don't want to drag it out. They have a plan. They have a way to wrap the show up in a nice, neat little bow without, I guess, overstaying their welcome because they'd run out of source material. So I thought it was a good idea. But in retrospect, what I realized is, no, it was stupid because part of what made the show so awesome is that the story took its time. That's what made it feel so epic. That so many things were happening and things slowly unfolded. And you began to understand the machinations behind the way that the government works in Westeros and how the military works and how the people of all sorts of races and stations were affected by the things going on in the world, whether they were mundane or supernatural. Like, all of these things were slowly unraveling. The show was awesome because it took its time. And it was written carefully. And the last 2 seasons, they didn't give themselves any time to do that. And for those people who want to kind of defend the show and saying, like, well, they didn't have time, what were they supposed to do? HBO and George R.R. Martin wanted them to do more episodes. George R.R. Martin was like, I want them to keep doing seasons until they stop. Like, he didn't necessarily want them to stop at 8 seasons. I think he might have even had a hand in convincing them to do more than 7 seasons. I'm not even sure. And of course, HBO, they didn't want them to stop making stuff either. They were begging them to keep with the 10 episode format. But for whatever reason, they didn't want to do that. And I had faith in them that they had a plan for a story. But really, their plan was no, we're going to make 2 really awesome looking battles in this last season to send it off. Which, I mean, in theory, that's good. But if you're a fan of the show, you realize that's not what made the show good in the first place. The show was good in the first place because the characters were good. And the situations were compelling. The intrigue, the cloak and dagger schemes, the mystery of it all, the slow unraveling of how all of these things are connected, and how even though for a fantasy things started off so realistic, how slowly and surely the mystical element was weaving its way into the world. Like, it's. I just watched it myself, and everybody around me, by the time the last episode was coming, we all didn't care. We just wanted it to be over, which was such a stark contrast with right before the first episode started, where, like, at the end of the workday on Friday, we're all like, it's here. We're doing it. What are you doing? You're having a party? Oh, shit. I'm about to go over to my friend's house that I always go over and watch it with him, and we're going to, like, have this big spread of food. What are you doing? Like, everybody had plans. It was like the fucking Super Bowl. And then last episode, we're just like, whatever the fuck.
Right, you just wanted to wrap it up, and you knew it was going to be bad. And there's several hints leading up to the final season that gave you the idea that these guys didn't really know what they were doing. One of the ones I remember was when Arya Stark was in where she was with the faceless god, and she was training with that one chick, and the one girl stabbed her and pushed her into a river. And like, man, there's no way Arya would have survived that. There's some kind of cover up, and like they had all these fan theories and blah 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 blah. But it turns out, like, yeah, she really did get stabbed. She really did get pushed in a river, and she survived, and everything was fine.
Yeah.
And after that point, it's like, oh no, this is really just bad writing. And then you get to the final season, and you have 2 episodes of people just talking it up. With, you know, you're counting down 6 episodes. You can't spend 2 of those episodes just having people meet and talk up. Like, I get you're trying to build like character bonds and all these things before this big battle, but like, go all in on that or don't. Like, you can't spend so much time wasted and then just be like, okay, this 3rd episode is just a big battle, whatever.
Yeah.
And we're going to cut away anytime someone's about to die, and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then, hey, we're going to wrap this up. Oh, don't think about any of this these setups that we've had for 7 other seasons for the Night King. You know, forget that. Oh, and Bran, he can just do anything he wants, but he's going to go warg into some crows and disappear for the entire battle.
And that's all he does.
We're not going to explain that either.
And they build him up to be the most powerful character in the universe.
And then suddenly the entire thing is about, like, Bran, and like, oh, Bran has the most interesting story. He should be king.
He doesn't have the most interesting story.
He's probably the least likely person and least likable person. And if you think about it too much, it's like Bran is, if he supposedly knew all this shit, he's either full of shit and lying, or he's just an asshole. It's like, you could have given a heads up to anything that was happening. Or you're just sitting there like, oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen because I'm Bran. It's like,
right.
Fuck you anyway. Get out of here.
Yeah.
There's very little redeemable about that final season. And then the whole Dany and Jon thing, like Jon's lineage basically meaning
nothing.
The only thing it meant was he felt weird around Daenerys.
Yes.
Which, you know, if you're following the whole, this incest is technically a thing, really wouldn't have been a big deal, especially for Dany. Maybe for Jon, because I don't think it was.
It would have been a deal. It would have been a deal for him, but at the same time, if he to realize that he was a Targaryen, I don't feel like it would have came off as a verse.
Right.
Or he would have came off as a verse to the idea. It would have just felt a little odd.
So basically, his whole backstory was wasted. His whole, you know, the big reveal at the end of season 7 was like, okay, whatever, we'll just go with it. And then Daenerys like, we have to make her evil. Let's make her do this. And it's like, you dove headfirst into that, making her evil, and then you landed on a rock. Like, you didn't think this through. You didn't give her time to develop into this, you know, evil queen persona, but you just went with it anyway, and it didn't work.
Right.
So And then the whole dragon burning the throne, like it's just,
That was
there's a
dumb.
lot of silly things. Yeah.
You know what? There was a guy at work that he made me mad because he rewrote that scene and it saved it. It might have even saved the show. So basically, when John stabs Danny and she's dying in his arms, and then Drogon comes and sees that, he was like, "Put John and Danny right in front of the throne." The dragon sees that Danny's dead and is angry at John. Burns John trying to kill him. The throne melting is just happenstance. The fire clears, the smoke clears. John's still alive because he's Targaryen. Drogon acknowledges it, carries Danny away.
I love it. That would have been great.
It takes no work, no effort to make that happen, and all of a sudden that scene means something. And all of a sudden, at the very least, if John wasn't ever going to become king, at the very least it just means that he didn't get eaten by the dragon, because the dragon recognized his Targaryen blood. At the very least, then it would have had some meaning. It wouldn't have been good enough, but it would have been a little something. We could have been like, oh, but wasn't it cool when like Drogon nodded to John? Yeah, that was cool. We don't even get that. Instead, we get the dragon burns the throne because he's mad at it, because he understands that the throne is what corrupted Danny. Do dragons know that?
Or is he just looking at the chair made of pointy swords?
And he's like, fuck that chair.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know, and you never know. And then at the end, Bran's like, I'm gonna go find the dragon. Okay, why? Who cares? You've missed that boat. Time to move on.
Yeah.
So I don't, it is what it is, I guess. It's very disappointing, and I hope the books, obviously, they can only be better.
They have to be written first, but yeah, let's hope that Martin has a plan that is more than satisfactory.
Right. My final point is about fan theories, and that I love to read them, but I hate to read them because, A, if they're right, you've kind of ruined the story for yourself, and B, if they're wrong but they're better than the story, you just again ruin the story for yourself because you wish it would have been the thing that you read about. So I have to avoid fan theories for pretty much everything now because they never result in good things.
No.
The only fan theory that I loved was the Mass Effect 3 indoctrination theory. And I've committed that as the official story, and I'm never going back to Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, that is, I can chime in here because when you talked about your friend rewriting it, I can relate because that's how Mass Effect 3 ended for me, or the whole Mass Effect series, really.
The indoctrination theory is the official ending.
Yeah.
Go look it up if you don't know what it is.
I even want to believe that, like, I think in some kind of Ask Me Anything or something, or some conference somewhere, they had a couple of the writers say, like, what about the indoctrination theory? They're like, no, that's not what it is. It's completely straight. I want to believe that is just a ruse.
They're indoctrinated, so they're trying to sell.
And that secretly they're like, yeah, the indoctrinated. That's what we intended, but we just want the people who are smart enough to know. Only they can know. We'll never confirm it.
Do you want to add a low to this list?
Yeah, I was thinking of stuff that happened this year and big disappointments, and for me, this is gonna veer away from shows and anime a little bit, but the game Anthem from BioWare was a big disappointment. And Marcus, if you want to kind of get a little bit of info on it,
I've heard of it. It's supposed to be like a Destiny counterpart, right?
They were trying to compete with Destiny as a looter shooter, but whatever. It had all the potential, but BioWare just fucked it up. I'm surprised. I've read about like the turmoil that the development went through, and just like poor management and poor, indecisive, lack of direction, and they like couldn't pin down what they wanted to do.
One of the coolest things about that game was climbing in your suit.
climbing in your suit and then just flying around in your suit looks amazing, feels amazing, but there was just no content to back it up. And also, they went with this. They tried to set up this fucking service model where ongoing content updates. Basically, they're trying to just gouge you for as much money as they can over time.
I'm not a gamer anymore, but I know enough to know that microtransactions suck.
It's not even microtransactions now. It's like Destiny was successful. Destiny 2 had a difficult launch, and like its first year was kind of was pretty rough. The community didn't like a lot of things about it, and they addressed all of those. But basically, it's like they get you playing the game, and then they do 2 or 3 big content releases a year.
Which are like $20 a pop.
Yeah, $20-$30.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
It's basically like expansions were back in the day. Like you bought the base game, then you would pay to buy the expansion, which adds new functionality to the base game.
Right.
It's the same concept.
Yeah, and then there's seasons where they have all kinds of like meta game events and like goals and achievements and stuff that just give you reasons to keep coming back to the game.
Okay.
So that, or to keep playing the game, so that when they release new content, you're willing to buy, And so they were trying to go with that model, and they just fucked it up. And the worst part about it is like, fine, Anthem is a new IP. It didn't work out. Whatever, we won't get to see that world develop. That's fine. But now they're talking about making the new Dragon Age the same kind of model, and hopefully the failure of Anthem will make them rethink this.
Ooh, I didn't hear about that. That sounds terrible.
It might have just been a rumor, but like the first thing I read about the Dragon Age 4, let's just call it, is that it's about like spies and subterfuge and like intrigue. That was what I first read about, and I'm like, that sounds amazing. That's what it should be. Like, let's do that. And then they're like, no, they want to make it a service model and fuck it up, basically make it completely unappealing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that hurt me. And I hope it doesn't turn out that way for Dragon Age 4, but we'll just have to see, I guess. I haven't checked the rumor mill lately to see if there's anything new on that front. But don't fuck up Dragon Age, please. BioWare.
Keep it good.
Yeah.
All right, so we're running a long time. 2020. What are you guys looking forward to? I can start if you guys want to think for a second.
Go ahead, start us off.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I got a couple things. Cyberpunk 2077 video game.
Like the
It's
whole
fingers
world
crossed.
is looking forward to that.
Yeah, exactly. Makers of Witcher 3, Witcher 2, Witcher 1. Those guys, yeah, that's just going to be badass.
How long has that been in development?
They'd announced it like 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago.
So it's been, Witcher 3's been out 3-4 years, I think, at this point.
Okay.
Feels like longer than that, but
God, we live in a sad time when 4 years is a long time to work on a project.
Yeah, they've been working on it forever, I think. They announced it a long time ago.
Yeah, but I just remember, like, people would be working on stuff for, like, 7 years, and it was par for the course.
Well, it just depends on who's involved and what the scale is, and, like, knowing CD Projekt Red, who's a developer,
yeah,
like, they're working to get it right. And
Yeah.
so far, what I've seen, it looks like they're going to get it right.
yeah,
It looks amazing.
And that's not really a diss on them. It's more a diss on where we are, that they have to say that 4 years is a long time after, that they've been working on it. Or, they've probably been working on it longer than that. But I remember seeing like trailers for it and stuff. And at the end of it, I loved it because they always said coming out when it's done. And I'm like, yes, that's awesome. But for it to only be 4 years, that seems weird to me, that they'd even have to do that, if that makes any sense. But I've been out of the gaming world for a long time, so I might not know what I'm talking about.
I think 4 years with a big studio's a long time, but I think they're smaller studios, so 4 to 5 years is probably, for a game that size, it's about right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the other thing, Final Fantasy VII Remake, I have mixed expectations of that.
Is that actually coming out 2020?
It's actually coming out, yeah.
All right,
Oh,
that's
it's a March or April.
Yeah, I think it's fairly early.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
It looks pretty, and
It looks
I
great.
like those characters. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to just dive back into that world.
I'm really disappointed. I'm not surprised at all, but I was hoping, like, they're going the full $60 for the game, and I was hoping, since it's like in installments, that they wouldn't go full gouge on us. But you know,
Well, I think,
how can they not?
Yeah, it's essentially the first disc that they're selling,
Right.
but it looks like they put a lot of.
No, it looks amazing. One of the things I read that gave me a lot of hope was that you can switch. It was something about like bridging the gap between the live action and the turn-based. You know, choose your input.
Yeah.
So I think you can like pause combat to do your, to choose your special moves rather than like have to do it. In the midst of the action, which is kind of what I always hated about like Kingdom Hearts. It just felt like a huge like design flaw that they just kind of went with, where like you're sitting there hacking and slashing, but you're also trying to navigate a menu with the D-pad. Like no, that's not fun. That's not like in my mind, like the Final Fantasy VII remake is like, well, the Kingdom Hearts justifies. Sorry, I'm saying this wrong. The Final Fantasy VII remake justifies all the Kingdom Hearts games. Like those are just like tech demos or like experimentations trying to get this real-time combat system right. And everything they learned from that is going to go into the FF7 remake, and it's going to be worth it because Kingdom Hearts is like fucking nonsensical.
Kingdom Hearts 3 like ate shit too.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, they were always ridiculous, but like, just trying to make it
I gave up on
smart.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. No,
I'll add Kingdom Hearts 3 as a low from my wife. She was looking forward to that game so bad, and it's the whole reason I bought her a PS4.
How can you? I just don't understand how you can look forward to that.
Hey man,
I'm sorry, not to hate. I'm no disrespect to your wife, but like, millions of people were like hyped about it.
I don't get it either, dude.
And I'm just like, what is the appeal?
I don't get it
like,
either, man.
Disney characters, like, what are you, 12 years old?
Yes.
Like, like action. The action. It's like a cartoon vomit, like Rainbow Sprinkles world. The story, no. Like, who, what? And
Yeah,
like all the characters are like these little emo, like, I don't know, there's just no like depth, there's nothing interesting there for me.
Well, your companions are Donald Duck and Goofy. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
they're not building character.
The whole thing when they announced Kingdom Hearts 1, I was just like, what the fuck is
Kingdom
happening?
Hearts 1 was cool because they could do it.
No,
because
it was
they could
cool.
Pull it off.
It was fine. Like,
we
they-
got Disney characters mixed with Square
No,
Enix
I was
characters.
confused. I was confused back when it came out.
No, it felt so wrong, and I was just like, okay.
But it didn't. It was like, okay, they're crossing over. That's awesome. There's something about combining these worlds that is just kind of cool.
Well, it was interesting because it was new, and like it was a new game from SquareSoft, and at that point I would have eaten up anything that they put out. But that was right about the time I started questioning things and stopped like just accepting what they were. So like Kingdom Hearts comes out, and I'm like, oh, it's pretty cool as a fun game. Like it was fun going to all these different Disney worlds and
Gummy Ship.
Hey, Gummy Ship was my jam. I played more of that than the actual game. That should be its own game, but that's a different story. But the fact that they like made a whole like trilogy out of it and all these others, and I was just like, this is not right.
It's like
Not
Terminator. Like Terminator should have made Terminator 3 the one that closes that time warp loop and ended it. And if you want to make another Terminator, do it with completely different characters. Kingdom Hearts, wrap the story up, make it make sense, And then if you want to do something else, do something else. But
Well, it just
leave
felt
that
so.
story by itself.
It felt so random. It's like, let's mix Care Bears and Ninja Turtles. It's like, okay, it's
Batman
like
and Ninja Turtles, that goes together like peas and carrots.
like that's fine. That makes more sense than Disney and like Cloud Strife.
Yeah, but money.
Yeah, and I mean, they did it. It worked, I guess.
Did do it. All right, we gotta wrap this up. It's getting late.
Yeah.
One more thing for me. Lupin the Third, the first, is a 3D. Did you see the trailer for that 3D animated Lupin the Third movie?
None of that sounds that awesome to me, but
It looks really
I
good.
respect you for liking it.
I would agree that it doesn't sound awesome, but like the trailer made it look really good.
Is
It's
it that
actually
stupid cell shaded 3D or is it legit CG 3D?
I'll show it to you. It looks like very stylized 3D. Like if you were gonna make an anime in 3D, like this is how you would do it.
Is it
Okay.
choppy? Is it chop motion?
No.
Good.
'Cause
I hate
actually, I
that
don't
shit.
know. But I think it's out in Japan already. But I have not heard anything about a dub.
I'm gonna look for a screenshot.
Just search for Lupin the Third, the First. And
It's a great name.
Looks legit.
Okay, Alan, what are you looking forward to in 2020?
I don't even know, man. I'm looking forward to.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, it's not. It is legit just CG. Sorry. Like ask you a question then cut you off.
No,
but
I
you know
don't
what I'm
really
saying,
have an
like,
answer.
They did it right.
Yeah.
I forgot about Cyberpunk. That's gonna be fun. I mean, you basically named all the stuff that I forgot about, AJ.
Spot on. Did my research. Marcus, you got anything?
Yep. I said it earlier, but Province Neverland Season 2, that's coming out next fall. So I'm looking forward to that. That was a sleeper anime. Like, only watched it because a mutual friend of ours wouldn't shut up about it. So I finally watched it, and then that first episode, I was just hooked. It was probably
You
one
gotta
of
stop
the,
saying a mutual friend and start naming these people, so we can call them by name.
They don't know them. Jerome.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Jerome.
Just say Jerome. Now, when we say Jerome, we're talking about Jerome.
Fine.
We can stop saying our mutual friend.
Fine. He might want some anonymity, but whatever. Anyways, Jerome, he wouldn't shut up about it, so I watched that. And probably one of the best first episodes to an anime that I've watched. Because the end of the episode is the biggest what the fuck moment I've had in a long time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a great show. Attack on Titan Season 4 is coming out. It's going to be the final season. I'm excited for that because I like Attack on Titan, and they finally got to the basement. So, so we actually know
Wait,
more.
they finally got to the fucking basement?
They finally got to the fucking basement in Season 3.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do we know what's in it now?
We know
or
what's
they just
in
fucking
it.
they just
and
got
it-
there.
And it explains a lot. A whole
It-
lot.
Does?
Yes, I won't necessarily say it makes the story mediocre to fantastic, but it at least gives me a reason to keep watching people cut up Titans, which is why I watch the show. Because I love the action in it.
Okay.
And it's ending in this season, so it's not just prolonging agony. So I'm excited to see what they do with this final season. Castlevania 3, they were originally going to try to put that out the end of this year, but it's looking like it's going to have a release date next year. And,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, they haven't said when they're going to put it up on Netflix, when it's going to drop, but they have been working on the final episode as of the end of like November. So we're going to be getting that, and Castlevania is awesome, so I'm excited for another season of that. And last,
I gotta finish season 2.
yeah, you do. Season 2 is fucking awesome, and it ends great. And then lastly,
Yeah, I forgot about that. Was this year, right?
yeah,
That was a good one.
it was real good.
Put that in the plus column. We also got in 2020 the Demon Slayer movie.
Oh,
Probably,
that's right. Yeah,
hopefully
The next
in 2020.
arc is going to be a movie.
So That's nice.
Yeah, if that comes to theaters, like I'm either coming down there or y'all are coming up here and we're watching it together.
Yeah, we gotta be in the same room for that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. And then last but not least, Alan, I'm surprised you haven't brought this up, but the Dune movie is coming out.
Oh yeah. See, I just don't remember things because I'm like tired because I chase kids around all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
totally
the
forgot
Dune.
about Dune.
The
That's
Dune movie is going to
badass.
be amazing. I'm convinced.
Well, it's going to
but
be
that's
hard for it not to be amazing. I actually haven't seen the old Dune movie or read the book. I want to read the book. I just haven't yet.
Read the book. Don't watch the old movie. The old movie's shit.
All right. I want to read the book. I just haven't yet. But the reason I'm excited about it personally is because Denis Villeneuve is the
Yeah.
director, and he directed one of my favorite movies, Blade Runner 2049.
I finally watched that a couple weeks ago.
Which,
It was pretty awesome.
yes.
I liked it a lot. I want to watch it again, but yeah, I dug it.
Yeah, I'm in love with that movie. And probably against popular opinion, I liked that better than the original Blade Runner. Because I didn't even like the original Blade Runner that much.
I need to watch that again too. I don't remember liking it as much as I had wanted to or expected to, but it's got that like it came out in like the 80s or something.
Yeah.
Or yeah, it's got that like 80s quirk, like awkward, I don't know, kind of goofiness.
It's one of
to
those.
it.
It's one of those time and place movies. Like back in the '80s, if you were into sci-fi and specifically cyberpunk, it was a pretty huge endeavor to create a movie like that. Just with all of the visual effects and practical effects, like there weren't a lot of projects that were done to that scale at that time. It's kind of
Right.
like a Star Wars thing when that first came
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
It was like a first of its kind. So I can imagine having seen it at the time that it came out, being completely wowed by it. But I mean, I didn't watch it until I was like in my late 20s. So the only thing that I can admit about it is that the mood of the movie sticks with you after you watch it. I've watched it. I think I've watched it twice. Can I watch it once or twice? I can't remember. Maybe just
You talking about the
once.
new one or the old one?
The old one.
Okay.
But I remember not digging it that much, but I kept thinking about it because it's just a weird and very moody movie. So I'll give it credit for that, but I think that 2049 is way better in every respect. And
I did kind of get. They spent a little too much time for my taste, just like with shots of Ryan Gosling's face, just like with no expression. But other than that, it's great.
It might not need to be as long as it is, but I loved it so much that it didn't bother me. But anyway, Denis Villeneuve, he knows how to do a movie. He knows how to adapt a thing. He knows how to take something that's a beloved property and make it art and not just a money grab. So, you know, like I trust him to make this thing that all of my nerdy sci-fi friends like into a good adaptation.
Read the book, or at least check out the book on tape, because the book on tape, they're audiobook. Sorry, I'm old. The audiobook's really well done.
Okay. Cool.
All right, well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. This is a long one.
This is this they call this long as fuck. That's what the kids would call this one.
LAS.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you like what you hear, follow us on Twitter at BrokeOtakuCast. And if you like sweet anime deals, follow BrokeOtaku as well. And if you like fish and grits and all that pimp shit, call me and we'll talk.